Hi everyone, this is Seth Scrimo here again with the Best of Worcester podcast, and today I have a special guest. You may have seen him up and around town. His name is Danny. Danny, how you doing today?
Doing good, Seth. Thank you, sir.
Awesome. We are very excited to have you on the show. So for those who may not know you yet, who are you and what do you do for Wayne County?
I am an admin for Scanners of Wayne County Uncensored, and I also help with the local Facebook page Scanners of Wayne County, which covers the local news and events in our community.
Where can people follow what you post? What page, platform should they search? And what kind of updates would they expect to see there?
Basically, a quick Facebook search, you will find our Scanners of Wayne County Uncensored group. Should be dependent on the algorithm, one of the first ones listed. Or you'll see our sister page, Scanners of Wayne County, and that's also on Facebook.
In your own words, what's the mission of sharing the scanner calls and local news/events?
The mission is to help people get through their day, and that is our focus, is trying to get you from point A to point B.
Awesome. So can you take us back to the moment that started for you? What happened around Philip's crash? Why did it change how you saw this kind of reporting?
Our page, Scanners of Wayne County, was born that day. Shortly after, there was another local Facebook group that decided they would not shut off the comments the day Lieutenant Weigel was fatally struck, responding to an accident on I-71. On the day of the accident, I'll never forget, I was heading to Massillon for pizza that afternoon, and the Mayday call came through. I noticed many people in that page, in that group, were asking, who was it, what happened, and that sound I'll never forget. I kept trying to report the post to the admins of the group to try and get the commenting turned off. But no, everyone wanted to hear the grisly details and to know who died, and to me that just was not appropriate.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like something that, you never forget. How did that moment shape your standards for what's appropriate to post, and what is it?
Well, years ago, what we've done is we've tried to make sure that those Mayday calls do not come through if we can. We've already had, unfortunately, 2 town and country Mayday calls in the last year or so. A Mayday call, for those that are not aware, is basically when a first responder, like a firefighter, does not answer their radio. So another member on scene would check on them if they're not answering their radio. They may even call like the deputy sheriff or local law enforcement to come out to make sure everything's okay. And recently, we lost Lieutenant Paul Charles Molichek, and I worked tirelessly to try and prevent his name being released in respect to the Molichek family and all that he has done for the gracious community of West Salem. Regarding what we post, we basically try our protocol is to make sure to avoid, if possible, DUAs, and if it's a fatal crash, we try to allow family time to process the news. And unfortunately, with the next of kin laws in Ohio, we do not know if you're a third cousin and you found out via our group, as an example, that you willingly joined. We're sorry. Our condolences, as always, are to you and to your family, but we just do not know somebody's 5th, 6th, 14th cousin. We can't help that. We can't.
So when a call comes across, how do you decide what gets delayed, what never gets shared, and what gets posted right away?
Basically, our main post that you'll find in the group or our sister page, Scanners of Wayne County, are the raw calls that our law enforcement first responder deals with. We've got anything from traffic, your weather reports, updates, fires in the area, local crime, etc. And we go off the metrics of what people respond to. If there's a shoplifting complaint at the local Walmart, we'll definitely be posting that to hopefully prevent more thefts. Loss prevention is one of the main reasons we've worked with local businesses to find out why they are closing and shutting down or not wanting to invest in Wayne County. Shrink is high in Wayne County, and theft is just out of control. Lost pets, missing individuals, those definitely are some of the top ones we make sure to get posted as soon as possible.
Yeah, it definitely seems like every day you see another business closing down, right?
Times are tough right now in Wayne County, and unfortunately, with the way the economy is going and with the way crime rates are astronomically higher than ever, and there seems to be no focus on recidivism. The individuals know they can go into your business at any time, they can steal whatever they choose, they get a no trespass letter, they are escorted off the property. If possible, property is returned to the rightful owner, and upon that, they go to the next door, sadly.
No. How do you balance people want to know with protecting families, victims, and first responders in real time?
The sad thing is there's really no balancing. If anything, we try and get the word out depending on the situation. And if nothing else, we try to use a simple reminder to just be respectful, folks. We know at 45,000 or more members in our one group, you're probably going to be related to somebody. Or if it's an active scene and we're told to, we turn commenting off. We don't do that to censor you. We don't do that because we don't want to hear your opinion. We do that out of respect, and that is something that other groups, other pages in Wayne County especially, do not do. We're seeing a sad trend in the last few months, the last few years, growing astronomically higher with what people say behind a keyboard. And we're finding out that Wayne County's true colors are not as rosy as they appear. We may seem to be one of the best micropolitan cities in the state of Ohio, but our members and our residents are pretty ugly in how they respond to things and what they'll tell you. And these are your business people. These are your neighbors. These are your pastors, your parishioners, your church people.
Yeah, comments can get ugly pretty fast. As someone that uses social media for my business and to connect with other people, it can be pretty pretty daunting at times. What rules do you follow for monitoring, and what line do you refuse to let people cross?
Biggest thing we constantly stress is we're all in this together to try and communicate and create a better community. That's our main goal, is we want to try to make things better for the next generation. We all may have had a rough childhood, a rough life, but all we ask is if you can try to treat everyone with respect. Healthy debates are natural, that's going to happen, but we just ask to be kind if possible and respectful. And the sad thing is, the more and more the sheets come off, so to speak, we're seeing the true colors, sadly, of Wayne County. We see the racism that we thought had been hidden, and it had been hidden, obviously, but now it's in your face thanks to your social media, thanks to your phone that you look at almost all the time, or beeps in your pocket to give you notification. And sadly, you see that those people do not like people that may be different color. They may not like people that don't speak your language. And that is a sad reality that our children will be facing as they grow up in this community.
What's the biggest misconception people have about your page and what you're trying to do?
It seems to be the biggest misconception we have is that people don't understand what exactly we are doing. People don't understand why do you post these things. We don't understand why you spend all this energy and time to let people know. And as I constantly try stressing to people, for certain situations, these are the raw calls that our first responders deal with. And if it can help, say your grandma know that the police are outside her house because it's just a welfare check and she can stay home, that is important to us. Or if we know that there's a missing person, we get the information out, and that's what we're trying to do. We're not trying to tell people to chase ambulances, which we're constantly being, accused of. We're not trying to tell you to go follow the local fire department to get the first pictures or be the first on scene for a high pursuit. We're not asking that, honestly. All we're just trying to do is get the word out. And that would have been what you would have seen for the younger people 20, 30 years ago was common in our paper. We would see in the local newspaper that, there was a crime report. And it would have all the incidents that we're constantly posting, but versus being delayed by days or weeks, we are now having those posts in your face, so to speak, that hour of it happening versus 2 to 3 days later, as we saw before.
Now, you listed cyberbullying, doxing, threats, and even some lawsuits. What have you learned about protecting yourself while still showing up for the community?
Biggest thing I've learned, unfortunately, is we're going to have cameras, and we have to screenshot every conversation that individuals send us, because obviously they think it's okay to harass, to laugh, make jokes about me, or make false accusations, threats even against me. And unfortunately, people somehow continue to make the derogatory post or comments, which eliminates what we're trying to do, so to speak. It eliminates our credibility. People don't know if this person that may have 4,000 followers or friends is serious in what they're saying against me, or if they're actually just trying to get my goat, so to speak. And sadly now we've had to incur and get the local law enforcement involved. And there's also been lawsuits pending, or civil litigation that's pending. Because do you know what? This is not appropriate behavior for our community. To have individuals that are so angry because we posted that, say your loved one was involved in a fatal crash, and because you're mad at us for posting that, you now take your anger out and spill hot coffee on us, is really petty and sadly has happened.
What does being sensitive to people's needs look like in practice compared to when you first started?
Anymore, being sensitive to people's needs is always a hard thing to deal with. We try to be as vague with our content. So basically, if we get any more vaguer, we'll end up being so-called posts such as squad is going to be needed at X place for an X emergency, or there was a theft at X place. And again, we cannot stress how petty our community is getting anymore. We cannot help that your business, and we constantly stress this is nothing against your business. We're just raising awareness that if, say, somebody stole something or didn't pay at your restaurant, as an example, to try and help the next place down the street not be a target. And this sadly is not Mayberry anymore we live in.
Oh, what I do for my professional, being a personal trainer, you have to trust the person that you're with, right? And I think, sometimes saying the facts, some people are not going to like it. So it's just one of those things that you can't change the truth, right?
And
unfortunately, you can't.
That's a sad
right?
statement. I mean, we cannot change the fact that, that full arrest unfortunately turned fatal. We spent 40 minutes, law enforcement, EMS did everything it could try to bring somebody back. But sadly, that has to happen, I guess.
Now, you mentioned encryption could change what you can cover. What's happening there, and how are you adapting to keep serving the people?
Well, we know currently, for those in the scanner field, that what we're having happen is certain departments, especially so far, we know of 3 currently, Barberton, Canton, and Akron Police, are going more to encrypted, which means nobody can hear the radio traffic, which leaves, unless it changes, only basically squad calls that we can then post for those communities unless the local police or notifications are released. And we're also seeing another thing called the MARC system going into place. And MARCs is basically your digital service replacing the analog that we were so used to. And with the digital frequencies, they can easily take and become encrypted, so to speak, because again, sadly, individuals decide they can download the scanner app, listen in live time to where the police are, thus negating the work the police are trying to do in their active investigation, and possibly tip off said suspect, or said suspect then flees, does not get apprehended as they should have been. And that is always another challenging topic.
Yeah. What kind of posts do you feel help the community the most? Traffic accidents, move over reminders, missing persons, severe weather, events, or something else?
To us, we feel that every post has their day, their purpose, depending on the call. If it's a bad weather event incoming, per se like a storm, tornado, etc., we then move into what we call storm mode, where basically we try to get the word out in a timely fashion. That means you may see 5, 10 plus posts regarding where the active storm is moving. Could be a tornado, could be a snowstorm as examples, and basically our main focus is on that. We watched in the most recent couple bad weather events, easily 20 to 35, thankfully no real severe injuries with accidents just on those severe weather days.
Oh.
Missing person, missing animals, those ideally we also constantly work on. Time is of the essence, as we know, especially if, God forbid, there's a body of water nearby, and that can happen. And then our post changed, sadly, to what was a missing person to possibly recovery. We hope that never happens.
Yeah, I know that, 2 summers ago, we had that bad rain, and Orville got flooded real bad. I know that you can't, again, it's just like the truth, you can't change the truth, right? It is what it is. And people can yell at you and scream at you, but at the end of the day, have to deal with it.
And when you take the flooding in Orville, which was a record flood we hardly ever see, we can say thankfully that through the power of using digital communication devices like Facebook, getting the real-time events out, people we know that are in the area, can you please go over to X person's house, get them out. We know they're not going to do well. Their basement's flooding. Their basement could be collapsing. As far as we know, there was no thankful loss of life due to this event. And the thing that people also don't understand, or maybe don't want to understand, is upon the flood being over, people that we do know in the area, we reached out personally, which we didn't have to, and let them know that, hey, if you need a dumpster, I can get you a discount at X place. And those are the things that I wish people could understand, that as much as you may hate us or love us, we do care about our community. We may not come across the most, we may come across gruff or whatnot to you, and it's not on purpose. But we can only take so much grief before we just kind of have enough.
Yeah. Can you share a time where you saw a real positive impact from what you posted? And any of the events that you could think of other than the Orville flooding, what we just talked about?
Well, I know for a fact there's been many people whose individual, their loved one, was involved in an accident. And good or bad as seen as what we post, they're able to reach their family before law enforcement can let them know they're at the local hospital. And those are things that are to us very important. Because when you're waiting to be notified, that could take hours. And if you're in a trauma arrest or if you're severely injured, you may be transported to a local hospital, and upon being stabilized enough, then they bring in life flight, takes you 20 minutes or less to the next trauma center. And those are things that are important, because you don't want someone to show up at the hospital looking for their loved one to go, they're not here. That individual may collapse from not knowing what's happening. Now they have to try to regain composure, drive another 30 minutes to a trauma center, when all that could have been avoided by a simple, hey, do you know where my loved one was sent to next? And that is what we keep stressing all the time, is, we have a good heart. That's probably our biggest downfall. We have a good heart for our community. We want to see our community thrive like it used to.
Now, you said the best thing about your life right now is trying to make a new life. What's that mean for you, and what keeps you grounded while doing this work?
Basically, right now for me is I'm going through a process in life where I've sadly lost basically all my family, so to speak. And now I'm just trying to figure out, what is life now? When you've been a caregiver for 15 plus years, and then that day ends, what do you do next? And that is where we've worked to try to build you Scanners of Wayne County Uncensored, or our sister page, Scanners of Wayne County. And that is what we're trying to do, and we've been trying to do. And if that does not go through, then what we work on also is just we enjoy spending time outdoors. That seems to be what keeps us the most grounded, is spending time outdoors, or spending time with my dog.
No, that's good to have a time to yourself and kind of unwind, right? So we're gonna get to the rapid fire questions of this show. So Friday night choice: Beef O'Brady's fish or El Tapatio? What's your go-to order?
Beef O'Brady's.
What are you getting?
Fish.
The fish? Okay.
Fish and chips and applesauce.
Why does that stand out?
I just like fish.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that, man. Over the summer, I like to go up to Lake Erie for walleye. So next time I get some, we'll do a nice little walleye fry, and you try it out. So pick one movie today, right? You have to watch: The Perfect Storm, Ted, or Forrest Gump.
Let's go with Ted.
Ted? Okay. How come?
It's a jury day. We need some comedy.
That's right. One message you wish every driver in Wake County would follow every single day.
Have patience, please. There's no reason to drive 45 miles an hour in a 25 zone and then pass on the right because you're in a hurry to get to Duncan. That's all. We just need to be a little bit safer. Reckless driving is what is becoming the #1 cause of accidents.
People are distracted too. Their hands.
That's the other thing. You've got literally somebody driving 35 plus miles an hour on a 25. They decide they want to make a TikTok with their friends. They're going through the sunroof. And this just is not going to end what we're afraid.
Yeah. So you see it all the time on the page, I bet.
Oh.
One tool or habit that has helped you handle criticism and hate mail without quitting?
The biggest thing that seems to help is at least a few which sadly seems to be diminishing, unfortunately. People that do reach out, and they know we're struggling. They know we're at a crossroads right now, so to speak, where we don't want to give this group up. We don't want to see our page end, so to speak. But why keep making posts? Why keep doing this when we're going to keep getting the hate mail, the criticism? But then when we find out that one person was impacted in a positive way, that's what keeps us going. And until we are silenced, we are ordered to cease and desist, we're going to keep making posts. I'm sorry, folks. If you don't like our group, you don't like our page, that's the wonderful thing about the country. You can easily unfollow it. It's that simple. You don't have to look at it. You can mute it. You can disinstall Facebook, and you'll never see any post.
Yeah, I think it's important to kind of unplug from social media sometimes, for sure. So last question here. Best thing about your life right now?
I'd say the best thing about my life right now is just the fact that I'm trying to get through the day. It's not easy, but I'm just trying, like everybody else is. We wake up, we have 24 hours if we're lucky, God bless us with. We make the most of those 24.
Yeah. No, I've enjoyed our time together. I've been working with Danny for a little bit, doing some fitness stuff, and I think it's good just to talk to people. So.
That's the one thing I can say our community has really lost the last few years with the COVID season. We've lost that personal interaction with individuals. We have become too accustomed to our camera alerting us to a suspicious person on our porch, when sadly that suspicious person might have been your neighbor who bought your neighbor's house 5 years ago, but because you never leave your home, never knew that. I mean, it's just the way life goes.
No, for sure. All right. Well, Danny, thank you so much for being on the show today. If anyone needs any additional contact information, you're welcome to reach out to myself, Seth Screamo, at 330-221-1547. Have a great day. Bye.